before I even start talking, let me go ahead and put my microphone on. It has happened way too many times where I record and I realize later on that my microphone was off the entire time I was recording. So let's go ahead and do that. Hello, I'm Spirited Amanda and I am back with another book recommendation. The book that I'm going to be recommending is this one right here. It is called Dark Matter, and the author is Blake Crouch. This is a New York Times best-selling book from a New York Times best-selling author. At the time that when I first picked this book up, I was looking to get back into reading, and I wanted to make reading part of my daily routine. This was about 2 years ago. And so I was just kind of searching whatever books were trending at the time, whichever books are doing good. And I came across this one, and you really just cannot go wrong with New York Best Times selling books. The author, Blake Crouch, is a very renowned, sort of celebrated for his audience author. He has written loads and loads of really, really good books. And Dark Matter is just another one of those really good books that he has written. Okay. I really like the author's style of writing. Blake Crouch, he's really easy to follow along to. It's just I find it just really easy. Like, just his style of writing is very familiar, kind of, maybe. And it reads very well. I don't know if I'm making sense right now. I don't really know how to explain it. But his style of writing is just really easy to get into. And you know how, like, sometimes you read a book, I don't know about you, but sometimes when I read a book, it just I have to reread things because I'm like, you know, or sometimes, like, I get a little bit lost in the author's way of telling the story and way of describing things. But I'm very, very compatible with Blake Crouch and his style of writing. The storyline is just so outside of this dimension. This book has almost everything: science fiction, thriller, and yes, even romance. The main character, Jason Dessen, is happily married father of one who may have a little regret of the path untaken in reference to his career, just kind of more in the back of his mind, feeling like maybe he wasn't able to make it or unlock his full potential, but he's overall happy in his life until one day everything changes. And so begins the story, right? The version of his simple, happy married life is ripped away from him. He wakes up inside a totally different world line. Jason Dessen faces mind-boggling obstacles but is determined to get back to his own world line. He demonstrates amazing moral fiber. I don't know if you're like me, but I like to read books where I really admire the main characters. And this book has a very, very developed main character. Jason Dessen is just so intelligent, incredibly resourceful. He's able to think on his feet. He's just really, really awesome character, and just very determined also to get back to his own world line. So this book is basically, it's about the multiverse, right? Infinite possibilities of lifetimes. And so imagine if you woke up and you were still you, and many people around you, you knew but somehow everything was also different. That happens to Jason Dessen, and the way that he's able to maneuver through these changes and is just incredible. I'm not going to give away any spoilers because that would be a horrible sin to this book, because the twists that this book has, just like the plot twists, and oh my gosh, like this book will for sure keep you on the edge of your seat. It is just very, very crazy, the twists and the turns. I figure I will read some of the reviews, because, by the way, this book is very celebrated. Like, here on the inside of the first page, it has a whole bunch of just like quotes, and then here again it says more praise for Dark Matter. So on the second page it also has more praise, more quotes, and here even also on the back of this book it has some reviews and praise. So I'm gonna read the ones on the back for you because they say it way better than I can. This is from The Guardian. The Guardian says, the most helter-skelter race to the finish line thriller you'll read all year with a clever, mind-boggling final twist. It's that twist I was trying to tell you about earlier. USA Today says, relatable and unnerving, makes its characters and readers wonder what life would be like had they made different decisions. And from the New York Times Book Review, a portal into other dimensions of reality. You'll gulp it down in one afternoon, or more likely, one night. Yes, very, very binge-worthy material here. Hey, call me girly or whatever you want, but I highly enjoy reading a story that has a good romance to it. And Jason Dessen loves his wife and his son so much. It's so sweet. He will stop at nothing to get back to his wife and his son. The version that he comes from. Like I said earlier, because he's crossing different world lines. So it gets crazy. But Jason Dessen is basically an unstoppable force. He will die before, he gives up, basically. It's very, very touching. Like, you just, like, you wish that you would someday find somebody who were that passionate and that determined to get you back, and vice versa. You hope that you are that type of person who will stop at nothing to get back to your family. It's really moving and inspiring, the love that this man has for his family. It's a really good read for many different reasons. So, does Jason Dessen make it back to his dear family? You'll just have to read this book and find out if he does.